Hello, my name is James Justice, and this is my PechaKucha presentation for my Design Tool class 2013. Our presentation is about installing coaxial cable in your home. To give a little background on my qualifications, I worked for Comcast for 5.5 years, so I have a little bit of experience in installation of cable. Being trained properly and experience I had gained from working as an installer of cable services gives me an advantage in explaining the installation process. So let's jump right into this. The first thing you have to do is call the cable service provider to hook up the lines outside. The cable tech will then run a cable from the pole to your house and merge it with a ground block of some sort at a grounding point outside. If you need it, they will drill a hole and feed the line into your home so you can distribute the signal correctly throughout your home. The next step is running the coaxial cable throughout your house so the signal can get to each room. You can have the cable installer do the installation, but that usually costs about $20 to $30 per outlet, and sometimes even more if you have a wall fish done. Mapping out the outlets is a good way to prepare before starting the work. By doing this, you can prepare for what lies ahead. There are many ways people try to install their own cable, but they usually don't do it the right way. They don't use the proper cable or leave splitters open so signal leaks out. This will affect how fast your internet goes and how good your cable works. That's why I'm making this video, to help people if they want to save money and install cable properly themselves. First, you'll have to use the proper tools to install the cable. There are many tools you can use, like a coax wire cutter, side cutters, impact tools, wire stapler, drill, and other tools that will help you ensure the cable is done properly. Having these tools will ensure the job will be done correctly. Not having these tools will make the job harder. You also need the correct supplies, like a 2-way, 3-way, 4-way, or even an 8-way splitter to properly distribute the signal to each outlet properly. You also need RG6 cable and the proper compression fittings for the cable. Some supplies you can buy from a store, but most of these supplies are no good. You got to get them from the cable company before you get it installed. There are different models of cable boxes and cable modems customers receive. If you are installing yourself, you need to go to your local service provider and pick up the equipment you would like to install at some point during the installation process. The installation of each model does not vary from much piece to piece. Most time you need cable signal and power at each. After selecting locations where your outlets are going to be, you can start installing them. If you have a basement, you can make this your demarc point, or if you live on a slab, usually it starts from the outside at a grounding point. From the demarc point is where all your outlets starts splintering out to each location. If you're doing it through a basement, you will need to drill holes in the floor to pull the cable through. The most important outlet location is where the cable modem will be installed. This outlet needs to have the most signal and should be installed at the first splitter in order to maintain the proper signal it needs. This may vary sometimes from installation to installation, but for the most part, you have to have the best possible signal in order to run a modem. After your cable modem outlet is installed, you may start installing your other outlets in your predetermined locations. You'll probably have to drill at this point, either through the floor if you have a basement or through a wall if you have a slab home. You can use a wall plate or wall fish if you need to, but mostly it's done in this aspect. House wrapping is important when a house is on a slab. The use of the correct clips and the tucking the wire under the siding guarantee the wire is off the ground. If the wire falls to the ground, the wire could get cut or chewed on, and this will cause signal leakage, and this will cause problems within the home, if not taken care of properly. After you pulled in all the wiring for your outlet, you have to cut the wire, prep it for the fittings. Proper cutting technique is required when you cut a coax cable. The use of the proper cutting tool is vital to getting the cut right. Use a utility knife, you may cut the wire improperly and the signal will leak out and you will not have proper signal at that piece of equipment. The proper cut is not the only important step in making your preparation. As this diagram shows, there's a proper length for all the parts to the wire. The length of all three parts is not correct. This will also degrade the signal strength at the outlet. This always comes back to using the proper tool for the proper job. Compression fittings are the best way to ensure the cable to have the proper integrity. If you use a screw-on or a crimp-on fitting, the signal may leak out and you again will have problems at the outlet. Using the proper supplies is also vital to the correct installation. Most issues actually start with the fitting not being properly installed on the wire. Signal leakage is the main enemy of coaxial cable. If the wire is not within a closed system, the equipment that you use will not function properly. You need to make sure that you use the proper splitters and don't leave any open ends on them because this also degrades the signal. Having the best possible signal to each location is the main key to doing an installation properly. After running the cables to the proper locations and cutting in and fittings properly, you need to start connecting equipment. The equipment sometimes can be harder to hook up than the wiring for most customers. The real fact that the equipment is the easiest part. Hooking up to the wires to the back of the box where it's labeled is easier than running the wires in my opinion. After you've installed all the equipment, you need to get the signal sent to each box. There are usually numbers that come with the box so you can activate your equipment. If they come on, your installation was a success. If not, you need to go back and see what you did wrong. I usually start at the demarc point and work my way back in. If you follow the procedures given you, you should be able to install a coaxial cable into your home without a lot of hitches. Proper tools will aid you when you try to install a coaxial cable and obtain no signal leakage in your home. All equipment should work properly at this point. If you have any questions, call your service provider, or there's other videos on. I hope this video has helped you install your own cable outlets and equipment, and hopefully you will save yourself a lot of money. The install charges and service provider charge can be around $200. Most people cannot afford that. This video hopefully will avoid any of those charges and help you along the way. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed this video and have a nice day.